Hey, it's Wednesday, December 1st. It's your AEW Dynamite review show tonight. We're talking about Cody versus Andrade in the main event. Ruby Soho advancing in the TBS title tournament. And Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page has an official date. Big title match coming up in 2 weeks. Winter is coming. Johnny North is coming. Let's go. Let's see him. I mean, like, coming up on the show. Johnny North is coming up on the show.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, you know what I mean. How you doing? What'd you think of Dynamite? You like it?
Yeah, I thought Dynamite was pretty good. Like, I thought it started a little slow, but it got better as it went on. And wow, that main event, that was crazy. I was not expecting that whatsoever. That was fun. Crazy, but fun.
Was it fun? It was a little weird, no? It was like strange. It was all over the place. I wasn't really sure when the match. Like, when did that match actually begin? Cody comes out, starts doing his entrance. Andrade attacks him right away. Did the match start at that point? I thought the match never started. I wasn't really sure when it was actually a match. I know they went into the ring at some point. There was a referee, but, I mean, there seemed to be no rules, and I guess the match started on the entrance ramp?
I think officially it's like once they got in the ring, but it's a street fight, so I mean, yeah, there's no rules, so it doesn't really matter. Like when they can say it officially started, but just for what they did in that match, they told a very fun story and also a very brutal story. Like, I don't know if you noticed that chair shot, the second chair shot Cody gave Andrade, like, he, like, not only did he, like, hit him while Andrade's running, but, like, he took the chair and put his hand behind it and forced it right into his head.
Yeah.
Like, that was extremely violent.
He, like, threw it at him, almost.
Like, he didn't
He rammed
exactly,
it.
But it's kind of like a throw. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty good chair shot. Was that when T-Pain gave him the steel chair?
I believe so, yes.
Is that what we're talking about? When T-Pain was involved?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun, seeing T-Pain. I like T-Pain. I thought the match was fun. I don't know if it's my match of the night. It was crazy. It was just pure havoc, you know? What's your match of the night? Give me your thoughts here. Doug Hepburn's in the chat.
Very much.
Angelo Contagonis in the chat, renewing his membership for the Ringside Report YouTube channel. Thank you, Angelo. Shout out to Silent by Deadly, Doug Hepburn, Angelo Contagonis. I see you guys watching live. Johnny North, was this your match of the night? Because to me, it was fun to watch, but there was so much nonsense. Cody's back throughout the match was a distraction. What was going on with Cody's back? You know, it was peeling like he had a sunburn. I don't know what was going on. Then by the end of it, you kind of figure out, oh, okay, well, he's going through a flaming table. So it was probably some stuff on his back to protect him from going through that fiery table, which I don't like when there's an obvious thing going on with the wrestler. And even the announce team at one point addressed it. They're like, what's happening with his back there? And they're like, oh, maybe it's residue from the garbage can. But it's like, dude, as soon as he takes... I was trying to figure out, I was like, when they said that, I rewound and I wanted to see, well, is it when he hit him with the garbage can? But it wasn't, because as soon as Cody takes that ring jacket off, his back is all, like, peeling off in a weird way. Like, he got a suntan and it burned and his back was peeling. But that's not what it was. I think it was some sort of gel that you could put on yourself when you're about to go through fire. And that was peeling off him throughout the match, and it was just very obvious, and that distracted me. And then when it came time for the finish, where it's like, oh, here comes Brandy Rhodes out of nowhere, and she has to dress up in a disguise, even though she's one of the executives of this company. She has to disguise herself to enter the ring for some reason in this no DQ things count anywhere match. Like, I don't know why Brandy had to dress up in the hoodie and the mask to come into the ring, and she immediately takes the mask and hoodie off. I was like, what? what was the point of that? She lights the table on fire, and then Cody reverse superplexes Andrade off the top rope through the flaming table. 1, 2, 3, that was the match finish, and Cody's back was in some fire there, and then it kind of all came together like, oh, okay, this is all a big work. This is all fake. Cody was wearing some sort of thing on his back. That was what was going on. Like, I was less impressed with Cody going through fire and more like, oh, okay, I see what's going on with his back now. I didn't like that. You know, when there's stuff that's so obviously, like, predetermined, it's, like, too predetermined. Takes you out of the match.
But
Kills the realism.
I think you take away from the fact that you're going through a flaming table backwards. That's very dangerous. Like, regardless of, like, he's more protected or not, you don't know how exactly you're going to land with that. So that could have been really rough, actually. Like, the fact they did that. Plus, he was on fire and put Andrade on fire when he pinned him as well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Andrade... And you could tell Andrade, like, he wasn't expecting that at all whatsoever. Like, I think that kind of slowed them from actually getting the 3 count done. So, again, there's a lot of factors there. It's very dangerous what they pulled off. Like, you're going to think about it, like, you got to be thankful that no one was actually seriously injured, because that is extremely dangerous what they did.
Yeah. I think you liked it more than I did. Is this your match of the night?
Just because it surprised me the most. I mean, there were some good matches tonight, but I wasn't expecting this from this. Like, I thought it was just going to be a usual, typical street fight, typical stuff. You know, they had garbage can lids, garbage can brawling, you know. But it went a little above and beyond. So, yeah, I got to give this the match of the night.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. They did some cool stuff, you know, some chair shots. Andrade hitting Cody with a laptop that he brought with him for some reason. Like, there was just too much. Too much gimmickry. Too much nonsense. Andrade hitting Cody on the back with a good chair shot. Arn Anderson beating up Jose during the commercial break for some reason. Like, there was just so much nonsense going on. Cody's dive on the chair was pretty good. When he did a dive there outside the ring, the tope, whatever, and Andrade puts the chair up and Cody dives right into it. That was pretty good. Kind of like the Benoit Jericho, right? Wasn't that Benoit who took that from Jericho?
I feel like it was a little more sickening with that, but it's the same idea, yes.
Yeah, same idea of a move there. I mean, it was cool, but there was just like a lot of weird stuff. Like Jose, who's like really jacked. Jose is Andrade's manager, and he wasn't wearing a shirt for some reason.
Jacked? He's okay.
Well, whatever. He's jacked for a man. He shows up and he's like not wearing a shirt, and I guess he had a taser, although it wasn't clear that he had a taser, except for the announcers telling you he had a taser. But he didn't get to really show off his taser because Cody hit him with the golden shovel. Are we supposed to know what that is? Is that like Cody's gimmick that I'm unaware of? I don't know about this golden shovel. I've got a few Cody Rhodes action figures. None of them come with a golden shovel. What's the story with the golden shovel? All of a sudden they pull out the golden shovel and we're supposed to act like, oh, a golden shovel. The announcers kept putting over this golden shovel, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Is this the shovel that Cody uses to bury the talent that he's facing? Everybody that feuds with Cody, everybody that feuds with Cody seems to need a real career reboot after they're done with him. Everybody that feuds with Cody comes off looking worse. Andrade
I don't think Andrade looked bad off this.
I don't know.
Like, if anything, like, you know, that's pretty tough, man. Like, to go on fire like that, like, to take that kind of move too, so dangerous. That's Cody with the sledgehammer?
No, there's no golden shovel. There's nothing. It's Cody by himself. LJN style Cody.
Didn't they have one with the sledgehammer already?
Yeah, maybe. I'm just saying. I got Cody toys. I got Cody toy over here. There's no freaking thing. There's no gimmick. No golden shovel.
Wait for the next wave.
Yeah. Well, what the hell was that golden shovel? What?
People getting hit with COVID. That's too bad. Sorry to hear that, Doug.
I don't think Doug has COVID. I think There's a fourth wave in his town. Well, I hope Doug is all right. I don't think Doug has COVID, though.
Yeah.
Let's take it easy, John. My God, I'm trying to talk about Cody Rhodes and nonsense, and you're trying to talk about COVID. God damn it, Johnny North! What the hell are you talking about? I just think, the match was too gimmicky for me. Jose with a taser, golden shovels. Cody at one point gets hip tossed through a table, and then Andrade, instead of like pinning Cody or attacking Cody, he just leaves the ring to get another table. It's like you put him through a table already, man. Why are you going to get another table? Why not, capitalize? It's a lot of weird shit going on. A lot of nonsense. I was watching this like, I don't know. I didn't love it. I thought Soho and Statlander had a more solid wrestling match. I thought Danielson and Alan Angels had a more solid wrestling match. I mean, I appreciate the effort from Cody and Andrade. They did do a lot, but it was a lot of, brawling through the crowd, a couple big spots, couple chair shots, and, hardcore wrestling. It wasn't particularly great for me. I didn't love it.
It's fine, but I mean, when you understand it's a street fight, it's not going to be just a typical wrestling match. When you understand that, and understand the fact that I don't know if this really had that much build to it, the fact that they delivered what they did, some very dangerous maneuvers in this match, I give them a lot of credit for that, because not everyone would do something like that.
I guess. But it's stunts. It's not really wrestling. You know what I mean?
Right. You're not wrong, but I feel like they build towards their stunts. It wasn't just stunts for the sake of stunts.
All right. Cody beats Andrade in the main event. What was with Brandy? Why was she looking so maniacal? She looked crazed. Like, she was like, I don't care about Cody. I'm going to light this table on fire because I have a lust for burns or something. You know what I mean? Like, she just needed the fire.
Right.
And Cody seemed kind of out of it afterwards. Like, it was Brandy kind of trying to turn Cody extreme, and, like, she didn't care what happened as long as Cody won, right? Did you get that impression? Like, Brandy was kind of evil there?
A little bit. I think maybe they were booing her a bit. I'm not sure. Maybe she was feeding off that. I think they wanted a bit of a surprise because you didn't know who it was at first until she did the reveal. It didn't take that long, but I think there was supposed to be a little bit of build up there, and they didn't want it until she got in the ring. Because if people were already booing before she got in the ring, then it kind of takes away from it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Brandy and Cody. Like, they're still baby faces?
We'll find out, I guess, next. I'm sure there'll be a promo next week to explain all of this tomfoolery.
I guess. I don't understand this Cody character. I'm not really sure why this is the main event. I mean, I guess because they had all these crazy spots planned and it was the street fight or whatever, but...
Yeah, I don't know how you could top this, really. Like, this is as high as it went, the show.
Was it? See... I don't know. I'm feeling differently about this show. I thought the show started off a lot better. I think the show started off a lot better than it finished. I liked the beginning of the show, and at a certain point, I kind of lost interest. Starts off with Bryan Danielson versus Alan Angels. I thought that match was solid. Bryan knocked out Angels with the kicks to the face before applying his heel hook. Hangman was on commentary, said nothing during this. You notice Hangman is just completely absent?
Yeah, it's disappointing.
That's how he is, man. He's not the best talker. He's a great character, he's a great wrestler, but talking is not his strongest suit. Excalibur called the heel hook a knee bar, which kind of annoyed me, because Excalibur's the guy who knows all these, like, tope, flipperito, tostito, super move, salsa, dip, all sorts of moves. Mm-hmm. And now, he doesn't know the difference between a heel hook and a knee bar? Like, this guy knows all the Japanese moves, all the Mexican moves, all the obscure American moves that are made up and all sorts of shit. He doesn't know the difference between a heel hook and a knee bar. God damn, pal. Come on.
Well, I don't know if it's just because JR wasn't there, but I just noticed him flubbing up a lot of different things throughout the whole night. I don't know if it's because, like, JR's there. You notice JR when he flubs up, I guess, and people always make fun of him, but Excalibur, maybe because JR's things are so big, you don't notice him so much. But I noticed it a much more tonight than ever before.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't love the commentary team tonight. I thought that they would add somebody to
I thought Taz was good.
I mean, they kept adding people throughout the night, but it wasn't one solid person. It was like different people kind of coming and going. Taz was there for a bit for some reason. Wasn't really clear why Taz was there. But they had Hangman there. They had MJF there. They had a bunch of different people kind of joining as guest commentators for little segments here and there. But it was a three-man booth with JR and Shivani and Excalibur. But with just Excalibur and Shivani and then somebody else, it feels kind of empty. There's not enough there. And Shivani brings basically nothing. And Excalibur, like, he does what he does, but you need another guy in there. I didn't love commentary tonight. Also, I thought the audio levels were off. Like, you could barely hear commentary a lot of the times. The crowd was much louder than the commentary team. You could barely hear what they were saying. So that was kind of...
well, that's not really the commentating's fault. That's more production.
Yeah, but, you know, it was an issue.
But I didn't like Excalibur. Like, he said Bryan Danielson, like, he said, oh, he got pushed to the limit tonight. I'm like, I don't feel like he got pushed to the limit at all tonight. Like, okay, there were moments where Alan Angels had some offense, but I wouldn't say, like, oh, he really pushed him. Like, I thought Danielson, like, for the most part, it was more of like an elaborate squash than a squash.
Yeah, no, it was just Bryan Danielson beating the hell out of Alan Angels. I don't know why Excalibur said that, but Excalibur says a lot of weird shit. Tony Schiavone interviewed Bryan Danielson in the ring after the match. Bryan mocking the people in Atlanta. Says he's going to show the entire world that Hangman is a one-hit wonder, and it's not cowboy shit. It's coward shit. Which I thought was good. Hangman didn't like that. He started coming down to the ring to confront Bryan Danielson, but then Johnny Hungy comes out, stops Hangman, and says, hey, you know you can't touch Bryan tonight. And I'm like, oh, he can't? Like, that wasn't established at all. You would think that Hangman Page on commentary during a Bryan Danielson match would have established that a little bit more. Was it? Could I just not hear it because the audio levels were off?
Possibly, yeah. But they said, yeah, he couldn't touch him. They weren't allowed any contact tonight.
All right. Well, Johnny Hungy came out and said that, and it was kind of news to me, but whatever. So he rushes to the ring. Johnny Hungy does, and Bryan decides to just leave instead of fighting Johnny Hungy. Bryan says he's not going to share the ring with this joke, and he says that Silver Hungy is beneath him, and Hangman is beneath him too. Bryan says that Tony Khan says they can't touch today because they'd be suspended if they did. And Bryan says he'd love to slap Hangman, but these jerks in Atlanta don't deserve to see it. Your top heel in AEW, Bryan Danielson. You know, a couple of weeks ago, when Bryan first started this, I thought, he can't be a heel. He's too beloved. He's too good. People won't boo him. There's no way. There's nothing he can do. But you know what? He's so good that he can get the people to boo him. And the people are starting to boo him. And I look around at the roster of AEW, and I see a lot of baby faces. A lot of strong babyface challengers, main eventers. I see very few heels. As far as main event level heels, who is the top heel right now in AEW? Is it MJF? Because he's a little young. He's a little young to be the top heel in the company. He's also not a main eventer. He's also not a world champion. You want to talk about the top heel in the company, Kenny Omega is gone. Bryan Danielson is the number one heel in this company. He just turned heel. He's doing brilliant work. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He's wrestling Hangman Page on December 15th episode of Dynamite for the AEW World Championship. Give him the belt. Give him the belt. There's nobody better. There's nobody working harder on the microphone, in the ring. He's managed to come in as a gigantic babyface and then once again turn heel, get the whole crowd against him. He's the best wrestler in the world in every aspect of the game, even his muscles. You see him flexing tonight? This arrogant Bryan is a fantastic character. He can out-wrestle Hangman. He can beat Hangman. He can show everybody that Hangman is a one-hit wonder. You can guarantee you that if Bryan Danielson was on commentary, he wouldn't just disappear like Hangman did. Hangman was a non-entity on commentary, and this man is the world champion of AEW. I love Hangman. I think he's great, but I don't think it's his time. I think AEW should be working towards Bryan Danielson versus CM Punk for the AEW World Championship in a match to take place in September 2022 at All Out. That should be the goal. That should be the end game. You circle that. That's kind of your main event. That's kind of your WrestleMania. That's your big show, right? All Out. I would do that. I would do Bryan Punk September for the belt. And you start that run by giving Bryan the belt on the 15th in Garland, Texas. I want to see some cowboy shit, Texas. Watch Bryan Danielson take the belt off your hero. It would get tremendous heat for Danielson. It would propel him and cement him as the top heel in the company. It would garner tremendous sympathy for Hangman Page. AEW fans would be irate. And it's the right thing to do. You need a top heel. Bryan Danielson is that guy. You're not going to put MJF up the ladder as your top heel right now. I don't think MJF gets past CM Punk. You need a strong heel at the top of your card, especially with this babyface heavy roster. Look at these baby faces you have. CM Punk, Hangman Page, Darby Allin. You won't let go of Cody Rhodes as a babyface. Everybody on your roster is a babyface. They got no heels. Bryan Danielson sees that and takes it as an opportunity to be the best heel in the company and possibly the best heel in the business. I think you give Bryan Danielson the championship because he's the right man for the job. It's his time. He's a little older than Hangman. He has fewer years ahead of him than Hangman. And the big match, the marquee match in AEW is not Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega for the 15th time. It's not Hangman Page versus CM Punk. It's Bryan Danielson versus CM Punk. If AEW doesn't recognize that their number one match that they should be making is Bryan Danielson versus CM Punk, they're fucking up. That is the match. Punk, Bryan is the match. WWE had it. They kind of did it, but they let it slip through their fingers. It should have main evented a WrestleMania in a 60-minute Iron Man. But instead, it can main event All Out in a 60-minute Iron Man for the World Championship. I don't know about you, Johnny, but I feel like Bryan versus Punk for the belt is a match that should happen on a big pay-per-view next year for AEW. Despite what people may feel about Hangman or whoever, like Bryan Punk, you don't get bigger than that right now. In pro wrestling, in AEW, whatever. It's the biggest match you can do. It's the biggest marquee match. Vince would be pissed if he saw that at the top of a card. If he could understand what the hell was going on. I mean, I don't know. But that's the match, right?
Well, I don't think Vinny would really care too much what happens with that kind of stuff. Like, he was going to say, been there, done that. I'm sure if he heard about that. But I agree with you that they should do Punk and Bryan next year at the pay-per-view for the title. I think Bryan possibly should be the guy to beat Hangman or get the title somehow, some way. I just don't think it should be this soon, though. That's the problem. Like, I think you give it to Bryan, but it's not going to be the first time. It might be the second or third time. Like the pay-per-view match, it's a three-way or something. Then he gets the titles that way,
I think you get more out of it by having Hangman lose in his first defense. I think you get more out of it. I think it's more memorable if he just beats him on TV clean in the middle of the ring. And then Hangman, he's like right back down at the bottom of the Bryan Danielson mountain. He's struggled to beat Kenny. He couldn't beat Kenny. He finally beats Kenny. He reaches the top of the mountain. And then here's this new mountain to climb that's even higher because he's even better than Kenny. He's Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon. So all of a sudden, Hangman thinks he has climbed the highest peak. When all of a sudden, this new peak comes into the company, and he can't figure that one out. But it'll take him time. And eventually, have Hangman beat him. Take the title back from Bryan in a year or so. Not now, though. Full Gear next year. Take the title back. And then go on a run. 10, 11, 12 months, something like that with the belt. Traditionally, the first world title reign for a wrestler is not a long run. It is usually a shorter run, and the second run is the more significant run. I mean, look at most guys throughout history. I mean, Hogan excluded, but a lot of guys, Brett, Roman Reigns. Look at Roman Reigns. The guy is only now getting a really long title run in the WWE. All his runs before this have been very short-lived. And he's not less of a star because of those short-lived title reigns, is he? So I think you can have a short title reign, gain some sympathy, be a bigger babyface out of it, and people will remember, man, you lost the belt. They took it off of you after a month. Let's tell AEW how we feel. Tony Khan, give Hangman back the belt. We love Hangman. That type of thing. That'll work. Get some sympathy for Hangman. Because right now, what do you do with Hangman as a world champion? He beats Bryan, and then what? Then he's like super strong. If he beats Bryan, how do you ostensibly believe that anybody is going to beat him after that? Like, if he beats Bryan, who does he feud with next? Billy Gunn? Like, who the fuck beats Hangman if Hangman beats Bryan Danielson? He just beats Kenny and Bryan? So he's like a super strong babyface that what? Does what? Who beats him? Like, that's the problem. If you have him beat Bryan, well, it's really hard to believe him losing to, Ricky Starks or whoever the fuck they put up against him next.
Oh, you're not wrong. They'd have to do like a him against Punk kind of thing. That's the only match you could believe where he could possibly lose, or you have like a returning Moxley come back to challenge him or something. You need someone like that, but you're taking your chances on that kind of stuff because you don't know when that's really going to work out. So I kind of agree with you. I think Bryan should be the guy to take the title. I just find the 15th too soon. I think you do something where Hangman wins, but it's kind of like, well, maybe he shouldn't have won kind of thing, or you do like a draw kind of thing. I think you do something like that. I don't think it should end here with him and Bryan. I think it should definitely go at least till the special, I think in January, the Battle of the Belts for sure.
Yep. If Hangman does walk away from the 15th of December as AEW World Champion, he shouldn't just beat Bryan clean. That should not happen.
Right.
And I
don't think it will.
I like how much we agree. I like that you agree with me that Bryan should be the next champion. I like that you agree with me that Bryan and Punk should be the match for the belt. I like that, John. We're in agreement here. I like Hangman. I think he's fantastic, but right now it just feels like other guys are here, and Bryan Danielson is so good. He's been so good. He's been the number one guy in professional wrestling for so long. He should be the world champion. Bryan Danielson as your world champion legitimizes you as a company. The WWE had Bryan Danielson and didn't make him their number one guy as often as they should, after WrestleMania 30. They didn't make him that number one guy, and they should have, because he is, in my opinion, one of the greatest wrestlers to ever live. He's not just the greatest wrestler working today. He's one of the greatest of all time. Like top 5 all time. This is, Bret Hart. Once again, back. This is that type of performer. He's a Bret Hart, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, top elite level, all-time level performer. People in 20 years will be talking about Bryan Danielson as the greatest of all time. Wrestlers that are coming up, little kids right now, and younger men that are wrestling right now, they're going to look at Bryan Danielson as the greatest ever. Some of his peers look at him as possibly the greatest ever. So to make him the world champion just makes sense. Hangman Page is great, but is Hangman Page the number one wrestler in the game today?
Well, no, but I think in terms of up and coming AEW talent, he definitely should be the champion. I think there's no question about that. He was definitely the guy you saw the most potential in, actually.
But I think a lot of the appeal with Hangman Page, a lot of the appeal was, let's get him to be the world champion. Let's, the push for Hangman. And now once we're here, it's like, okay. So he's a cowboy, and he does the buckshot lariat, and his matches are real good, but, are they as good as Bryan's? Are they as good as Darby's? Now that he's the world champion, he has reached that goal. And now people start to look at him in a different way. I'm starting to look at him in a different way. Okay, he's very good, but is he as good as this guy? Is this guy better than him? And when he goes on commentary to open up the show, and he's barely there, you could barely hear him. He's saying nothing. And then in the following segment, MJF gets to be the guest commentary guy, and he just takes over. You start to compare the world champion more. Hangman on his own as a star and just a guy, Hangman Page in AEW, is oh yeah, cool, But now Hangman is a world champion. Now he's got the target on his back. Now everybody's kind of looking at him as, what kind of world champion is he? What's he like on top? What is this Hangman Page really all about? What's he like on commentary? Can he cut an in-ring promo by himself for 10 minutes? There are things now where you start to look at Hangman, you're like, yeah, all right. He's very good. But I think that there are people better. And I think that there's one guy that's better, especially, and that's Bryan Danielson. And I will always think that. And Bryan Danielson is going to beat the shit out of Johnny Hungy next week on Dynamite. What? I remember when Daniel Bryan was still a thing, and he was wrestling in the WWE, and I said, oh, man, could you imagine Bryan Danielson going over to AEW, wrestling Kenny Omega, wrestling Hangman Page, wrestling Johnny Hungy? We're getting everything we want and more. I mean, he wrestled Minoru Suzuki. I didn't think that was going to happen. But he's going to wrestle Johnny Hungy next week in Long Island on Dynamite. Oh, shit. That's going to be good. I think the match will be very good.
Well, I wonder, though, is it going to be more of what we saw tonight? Because what it seems like is they pretty much just have them steamroll over the Dark Order. And again, yes, they get their moments of offense, but they're very brief, and for the most part, it's just again an elaborate squash. I don't know if Johnny Hungy's going to get more of the same next week.
I think he should. I think he should get nothing. I think Bryan Danielson should just beat the living shit out of him. And I'm a Johnny Hungy fan. I'm one of the biggest.
Okay. It's kind of surprising.
Bryan over everyone, John. I don't care. I don't care who you are, how good you are or how much I may like you. When you go up against Bryan Danielson, I want you to go down. Bryan up, everybody else down. Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, Darby Allin, CM Punk, MJF, everybody down. Bryan Danielson up. Unless he faces Jade Cargill in some sort of intergender match, and then, that'd be tough. But other than that, Bryan up all the way. I mean, even against Jade Cargill.
He'll win next week for sure.
Even against Jade Cargill, I think he'd win. But that would be his toughest match in AEW by far. By far. Yeah, he'll definitely win next week against Johnny Hungy. 100%. Miro wandering through a white room talking about God and the Redeemer and says God revealed something to him about leaving the house and storming the gates of heaven, and this is the word of the Redeemer. He didn't mention any wrestler that he was going to go against, so I don't really know what's going on with Miro. Maybe he wants revenge on Sammy Guevara. I don't know. Miro's mad, and he is in a white room now.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with him, but it sounds like I guess he's going to come back and destroy a bunch of people. Maybe, I guess, go for the TNT championship, try to get that back possibly. That would make the most sense, I think.
Yeah. Unless Tony Nese gets it.
I don't know about that, but, I mean, stranger things have happened.
What happened to Jay Lethal? They gave up on him or what? Like, was that a one-shot deal with Jay Lethal or... Because he had the match with Sammy? Oh, he's on Dark now. Okay. That's nice for him. MJF wearing a really nice Hanukkah-themed suit tonight. I really like that. I like this suit. I'm wearing my Hanukkah gift from my dad. Got me a Wet Bandits t-shirt. You see this? Harry and Marv from Home Alone over here, Johnny North. A couple weeks ago, Xavier Woods mentioned that the Usos looking like the Wet Bandits. And I like the reference. I talked about the Wet Bandits. And you didn't know who the Wet Bandits were. You didn't know what I was talking about. Home Alone, John. So now I got a t-shirt to remind you. The Wet Bandits. Joe Pesci.
Again, Home Alone was what, 1990? Like, that was a long time ago.
Who doesn't watch it every Christmas? It's December officially. Yeah. I'm going to be watching Home Alone at some point this month. It'll be on TV, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, I'll watch some of this. Thank you, Angelo. Angelo loves the shirt. Shout out to Angelo. He knows what's up. Home Alone. It's December, baby. You watch Home Alone every December. What's the matter with you?
Honestly, I can't think of any movie, like, Christmas-wise I'd rewatch. Like, I guess as a kid, you rewatch, like, Rudolph a couple times, but maybe that's about it, I think.
Home Alone. Every Christmas. You got to watch it. It's fantastic. Watch it this Christmas for me, John. All right? Just watch Home Alone. You'll like it. It's fun. It's heartwarming.
Maybe.
Come on, the old man. That old man really saves Kevin's ass. Harry and Marv are going to kill him, but then the old man shows up with his shovel and everything goes all right. Spoiler alert, the kid does not get murdered by Joe Pesci and what's his face?
The guy that
Marv.
was in a couple of things. Daniel Stern.
There you go, Daniel Stern. Thanks, John. There you go. I know him as Marv. Die Hard is a Christmas movie too.
Fun movie to watch,
I don't really
I
like
agree.
Die Hard. Die Hard is not my movie. I'm a Home Alone guy. I'm not a Die Hard guy. Okay.
It's too bad.
CM Punk beats Lee Moriarty via pinfall after a go to sleep. This match was not good, right? Kind of a sloppy match. Took way too long to beat this guy. There was a part where Punk and Moriarty did some real fake-looking back-and-forth roll-ups there. Punk just flipped to let Moriarty pin him. Like, it was not good. I didn't like this match.
Well, I think you take in consideration he's only been wrestling for like 6 years. And I think Punk liked him a lot and wanted to give him a lot over. But it's tough to be put in that position and expect to excel like that. Didn't expect much from this match, and we don't have high expectations. It's not hard to deliver, so it was fine for what it was. But again, I thought the show was kind of starting a bit slow here, and just another slow pace. I got picked up a little bit after with the MJF promo, so that was nice.
Well, I thought it was all right with the Bryan Danielson thing. Like, Danielson's match to open up the show was good, and then Danielson's promo was good. Like, it was a really good promo from Danielson. Like, the Danielson, having Bryan Danielson wrestle and then talk to start off a show when he's in a program with the world champion, that's always good for me. I'm down with that. The Miro promo was when it got a little weird. The CM Punk match was not great, but MJF saved it with his tremendous work on commentary. I thought he was great. MJF then cut a post-match promo on PG Punk, as he calls him. MJF says the only thing Punk is best in the world at is trying to get into Britt Baker's pants, which was a little shocking. Like, because Punk has mentioned Britt Baker a couple of times in complimentary fashion in his promos, so MJF taking exception and saying Punk is trying to get into Britt Baker's pants. And then Punk's kind of got an unimpressed look on his face, and then MJF says, yeah, that look on your face is how Britt would look if you got her in the bedroom. I don't know what Britt Baker did to get involved into this. Why is MJF taking shots there? And is Punk trying to, because Adam Cole should be mad, and Punk's wife should be mad too. So I don't know, but MJF kind of took a shot there that was a little off. Like, if I were Adam Cole, I'd be a little mad. I'd be like, wait a second. If I were Britt Baker, I'd be mad too. I'd be real mad. I'd be like, hey, MJF, why don't you shut the fuck up? Why don't you keep my name out of your mouth? CM Punk's not trying to fuck me, and I'm not trying to fuck CM Punk. Could you not put that into the audience's mind? It's weird.
To me, what was off was that you have that mention, and then Britt does a promo right afterwards. It doesn't mention it whatsoever because it's a pre-tape.
Yeah.
So it felt weird seeing that.
Yeah, it didn't make Britt look good, and it didn't do Britt any favors. Like, they're talking about her. They're saying Punk is trying to fuck her. And she doesn't say anything about it in her promo because it's obviously a pre-tape, and she's just talking about, Thunder Rosa. And Riho and shit. It wasn't good. It didn't do Britt any favors. MJF's talking to Punk, and then Punk grabs a mic, and he says, MJF has a lot of nerve talking about pants when he looks like he's wearing Larry David's pajamas. Now, I think that was an anti-Semitic comment. I didn't like that. Because Punk is just saying, oh, Larry David, he's just like a stereotypical Jew guy, and you're wearing a Hanukkah outfit, so you look like you're wearing Larry David's pajamas because Larry David is a Jew, so he must dress up like this in this suit. I've seen Larry David before. He's not a flamboyant dresser. He's not wearing crazy suits like MJF is. I think CM Punk was just trying to grasp at straws, and he took the most, stereotypical Jewish guy that he could think of and just kind of threw out that name. Oh, Larry David's pajamas, ha ha ha. I didn't like that. I don't think Punk knows many Jews. That's my estimation of it. One of his friends was a Jew, and he cut all ties with old Colt Cabana. Now he's being real mean to MJF. I thought that Larry David's pajamas line was like borderline anti-Semitic, is how I took it, John. As a man who celebrates Hanukkah. Lit the menorah tonight. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. Happy Hanukkah, MJF. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, my man from Long Island. Anyways, I didn't like it, John. I didn't like that comment. I thought that comment was a little off color, and it kind of showed like, oh, Punk is maybe not a friend of the Jews. Maybe not. I don't know. It was weird. You didn't notice anything? That didn't ring bells for you, right, John? Like, that didn't kind of...
I've only seen a handful of Curb episodes, so I've never seen Larry David in his pajamas, so I can't think of like something like he.
Well, he wouldn't wear that. He wouldn't wear that is the point. And Punk is just kind of saying, oh, well, he's like a very stereotypical kind of Jewish guy, which he is. Not that there's anything wrong with being stereotypically Jewish.
I think he was just name dropping, like.
Yeah, it was. No. I'm telling you, John. As a man who's been bar mitzvahed, I felt a vibe with that comment that I didn't like. Didn't like the vibe. Not liking the vibe. Anyways. Punk tells MJF to bring his needle dick in the ring right now. MJF says Punk needs him more than he needs Punk because MJF says he's a spark to a flame that Punk hasn't had since 2011. MJF says he's going to win the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal next week in Long Island in his hometown, and he's going to be better there than Piper in Portland, Brett in Canada, or even Punk in Chicago. And then MJF tells Punk that if he brings his dog Larry to the arena ever again, Larry's the one that's going to go to sleep. Which upset...
I got him mad.
Yeah, he says he's going to kill Punk's dog if he sees him. I like that line from MJF. I thought that was funny. Kill your dog. How about that? And then Punk starts marching towards MJF, but Wardlow steps between them, which stops Punk. Punk, in this moment, seems afraid of Wardlow. Right? Like, you would think, you insulted me, you say bad things about me, you say you're going to kill my dog. I don't care if your bodyguard stands in my way. It's just Wardlow. I'm CM Punk. I could beat this guy up. But no. He decides not to, and then the referees step between them, and Punk calls MJF a pussy a couple times. MJF walks away, and that was it. Apparently you can threaten murder on Punk's dog, and he won't attack you as long as you got a big jacked guy in front of you. He's going to back down. Back down pretty quick when he saw that Wardlow. And Wardlow knows how to win a squash match. He beat that AC Adams in like a second. Wardlow won a squash match tonight for some reason. Sean Spears just beat him up with a chair after the match. The jobber. Spears was in Wardlow's corner. That's all Sean Spears is good for. But why did Punk back away from Wardlow?
Well, I think they're eventually going to wrestle each other. More than likely, he's going to wrestle him before he has to get to MJF, right? So I think this is just the one roadblock, in a sense, for Punk to get to MJF. He'll probably have to wrestle Spears as well, but this is the serious roadblock.
Yeah, Spears is not a roadblock. Doug Hepburn wants to know, why did MJF mention Britt Baker? I think he mentioned her because Punk has been mentioning her a couple of times in the promos. He even said last week, like, MJF, or was it last week or the week before? He said at some point, like, he got replaced in the, like, AEW top stars by Britt Baker, right?
The four pillars, yeah.
The four pillars, Britt Baker has replaced MJF. So MJF was like, oh, Punk's just saying nice things about Britt Baker because he's trying to get in her pants, which, they're both involved with people. But it's a wrestling promo, so whatever. But I thought it was a little off color to be saying that. And then also AEW kind of doing Britt dirty by, having them kind of talk about Britt and say remarks about Britt on this live promo, and then right after that, it's a backstage promo with Britt and Jamie and Rebel, and, Britt doesn't mention MJF or Punk or anything because she didn't know they were going to talk about her. Britt says it's going to be Jamie Hayter versus Riho on Dynamite next week. Clearly pre-tape promo, terrible timing for that promo. And then after that...
It was like 2 weeks in a row like this.
Was it?
Well, last time we had the match, and then they had a pre-tape, where they're just like, oh, well, this happened, the match, whatever, but it's clearly like they knew what was going to happen, and just threw that line in there, but it's very awkward that you'd have this Thanksgiving thing after you just had the match.
Yeah. It was a weird spot. And then Adam Cole came out. So I thought, okay, well, maybe Adam Cole, and he came out and he looked mad. First of all, he goes to the ring, does his whole entrance, and then leaves the ring and goes back to commentary, and you're like, what the hell is going on? And I thought Adam Cole was going to be like, hey, MJF, you need to stop talking about Britt Baker. CM Punk, you need to shut up. Tony Schiavone, too. I thought Adam Cole was going to say something about it. But no, he just kind of did his entrance, went back to commentary, and then waited for Orange Cassidy to come out. Orange Cassidy did his pose with his hands in his pockets in front of Cole, and then the Young Bucks crept out in front, behind Orange. Orange turns around, acts all cool, does his orange little baby kicks on the Bucks, and then Adam Cole low blows Orange Cassidy, and the Bucks do the baby kicks back, like fake super kicks to Orange Cassidy, and then eventually they do
This is the low point of the show.
Yeah, this is horrible. And then eventually they do the real super kicks, and then Chuck Taylor and Wheeler Yuta finally show up. Like, it took forever for them to show up and back up their guy, and they run off the Bucks and Cole. So now the Bucks and Cole go from feuding with the Jungle Boy and the Luchasaurus and Christian, and now it's like a rung lower than that with Orange, Chuck Taylor, and Wheeler Yuta. Ugh. This sucked.
Yeah, this wasn't good whatsoever. It just looked like if you were just turning on television, you're watching this, it's like, wow, you want to turn off right away because, whew, just bad. Like, but I get the Adam Cole thing because the entrance, a lot of people love the entrance. I'm sure, like, it's mainly just for the fan service, pretty much, just the entrance. But also, I think he's angry because he had to talk to Shivani, and he hates Shivani, so it's for that.
You know, it's all about the boobs, right? Budge.
Wow, that's long gone now. It's over.
Was there no
It's all
Being
about
the
the boob
Elite?
now.
Was there no Being the Elite this week? What the hell? Being the Elite drops every Monday, and I feel like I looked for it, and it wasn't there this week. Do you know anything about that?
Oh, no, I don't. And I think it's okay if it doesn't drop. It's fine.
Whatever. You don't
The
watch
world
it, Sean.
is-
I
But
need
it's okay.
my
The world's a good
BTE.
place without it.
Well, I just think it's odd that there was no Being the Elite this week. It drops every single week. Are the Bucks okay? Is Brandon Cutler okay? I know Cutler's
Well, didn't
involved.
they say they're not cleared to wrestle, right? So maybe they're not cleared to do the PT then, I guess.
What? You don't need to be
were they
medically
even
cleared
there
to.
last week?
You don't need to be medically cleared to do a video blog. Yeah, but Ray Cruz says
Yeah,
no,
but
no BTE. But why was there no BTE? Does anybody know?
They probably weren't at Dynamite last week, probably.
Hold on.
I mean-
BTE on Twitter. There will be no BTE tomorrow. We'll be back with a new episode on 12/6 at 12 p.m. What the hell? I don't know why, but Being the Elite just said on November 28th, no show this week. They didn't exactly say why. Well, that's odd because it's on every single week. So I don't know why there was no Being the Elite this week. I know you don't like it, but I like it. So I was disappointed we didn't have it tonight. Or this week, rather. I like BTE. It's fun. Pentagon and Pac are backstage with Alex Abrahantes, and they're being interviewed. And Abrahantes says, Ray Phoenix is injured, so he's not going to be in the match against FTR on Friday night. And Pac is going to be replacing him, except Pac has an eye patch because he got shot with black mist from Malachi Black. So Pac is going to wrestle with one eye for the injured Ray Phoenix, and I guess the tag titles aren't on the line. This was a match I was really looking forward to. Lucha Brothers versus FTR in a 2 out of 3 falls match set for Rampage on Friday night for the AEW tag titles, but apparently Ray Phoenix is hurt, and that match is off. It's now Pentagon and Pac versus FTR. I don't know if it's still for the belts. Probably not. And also, not only do I not know if it's for the belt, I don't know if it's going to be 2 out of 3 falls. Like, are the stipulations still going on, or what?
I guess tune into Friday, yeah, because to me that wasn't clear if the titles were on the line still or still 2 out of 3 falls. I mean, I expect it's still going to be 2 out of 3 falls. Why change stipulation? There's no reason to change that. However, I understand not putting the tag titles on the line when you only have one half of the tag champs involved in the match.
Yeah.
But with the injury, who knows how long this is going to be, so maybe you want to have the title on the line so you can do a change.
I don't think you can put the tag titles on the line if only one half of the champions is in the match. I don't think Pac can defend.
Rules, no?
Yeah, I don't think Pac can defend. I don't think that's how it works. I think it's going to be non-title. Pentagon and Pac versus FTR set for Rampage on Friday. Is there anything else that they announced for Rampage on Friday night? Is that it?
Yeah, you mentioned it before. Guevara against Tony Nese.
Oh, yeah. Guevara against Tony Nese for the TNT title. They usually do 3 matches, though, on Rampage.
Yeah, but 2 or 3 falls and another title match.
Maybe a couple promos. Yeah, all right. What'd you think about Tony Nese's promo there, the pre-tape for the Sammy Guevara match?
It was what it was. I wasn't blown away by it. I wasn't offended by it, but again, I don't believe in him whatsoever. I mean, he hasn't wrestled on Dynamite at all, so hard to believe someone's going to be a champion when they aren't even on the main show.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know where has Tony Nese wrestled yet in AEW?
On Dark a couple of times, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know. I thought this was his debut. Doug Hepburn dropping a super chat. He says, Dave, any luck hunting for Dominic Mysterio figure? No, I still have not found a Dominic Mysterio. Still looking for the WWE Elite 89s. Still have not found my Dominic. However, I did work out a trade with a man. I believe I've worked it out. Yep. I think I've worked out a trade with a dude to get the new Sergeant Slaughter and the Goon action figure. Gonna trade him a Luchasaurus and a Jungle Boy for Sergeant Slaughter and the Goon. The Goon, John. The Goon. Pretty hyped.
I'm surprised he has an action figure. Wow.
Exactly. And I'm gonna have one. So I'm gonna trade an extra Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus that I have here for the Goon and the new Sergeant Slaughter. And I'm going to keep searching for Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest and somebody else in that series that I need. I forget. But anyways, that's the action figure hunting. I'll probably do an auction at some point soon because I have too many boxes just kind of creeping up around me. What do I get here?
It's not exactly behind you. You can't see it.
No, it's all over the place. Yet. I got the new Kenny Omega here. Look at that. New Kenny. AEW Unmatched. First series is called Unrivaled. This is Unmatched. There's a Kenny. There's a new Darby with the TNT title. Look at that. He's got the belt with him.
Cool.
How about that? Oh, Doug saw Dominic in Kingston today? Oh, Doug, what else did you find? Yeah, get that Dominic for me. Get me the Dominic, send me the Dominic, and I'll send you that Orange Cassidy finally. I've been meaning to send it to you. There's Britt Baker. DMD. First ever Brit.
What's the title?
No title.
Ah.
Darby's the only one that comes with a belt. He's got that TNT title. It's a pretty nice TNT title, like the little title that comes with it. It's nice.
I like the red.
Yep, it's a nice one. Yeah, Doug, I'm going to go check tomorrow, but yeah, if you pick up that Dominic, send it down. We'll see what we can do. Send me some pictures, What do we got to do? I don't know, Doug. We'll contact me. Send me an email or something. Let me know what you got. But yeah, I want that Dominic. Sting and Darby Allin beat the Gun Club. Billy Gunn looking real jacked tonight, baby. Real jacked. It's hard to believe he's only like 3 or 4 years younger than Sting. Sting and Darby get the win. Sting hits the Scorpion Death Drop on the Gunn son, whatever his name is.
Colton.
Baby Billy. Uncle Baby Billy Colton. Sting gets the win there on the Gunn son. Darby was bleeding from the top of his head somehow. Do you see how that happened? I didn't see that.
It was during the break, so I didn't see how it happened exactly. But, wrestling's tough. And, man, Darby, again, he took a beating throughout the match. I don't know if you noticed that dive he did on Billy. Looked like a cannonball going at him. It was crazy.
That's what Darby does, right? His dives are all, just balls to the wall.
Well, it's just that's the thing, though. His kind of style, he's going to get hurt more often than not. You saw his shoulder was all taped up because it's not easy to do what he does.
He's fantastic. He's one of my favorite wrestlers in wrestling. Forget AEW. He's one of the best.
Good.
He's great. And Sting was, there. He wasn't terrible. He didn't do that much, but he did enough. That's what Sting does. Like, Sting knows how to limit his appearances and just kind of give you the greatest hits. It's not bad.
He was good with the facials tonight. I really liked the face paint. I really liked his comeback was good. Like you said, he's just got to keep it simple, and that's what he does. And I thought Billy and Colton, like, they sold good for him. They fed into him for everything. Like, it just flowed very well. Like, this match was probably my second favorite match of the night.
Yeah, it was solid. It was solid. I really like Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho. I thought that was maybe my favorite match of the night. I thought it was fantastic. Ruby Soho beats Chris Statlander.
I like it too. It's just
Ruby got the win with a roll-up to advance to the semifinals. She'll take on Nyla Rose in the semis now. What do you mean the heat? Tell us.
But like in the tag match, like you could tell, like you had heels and faces, and you could tell like it was building the match.
Mm-hmm.
Where the women's match was probably the best wrestling match we saw tonight. But it's two faces, and like people are just reacting to all the moves, and like it's good, but it's not the same kind of build. There's no like anticipation for something coming up. It's just move after move, which was fine too. I mean, that works, but it's not the same. And like I just like that story of like good versus evil and how that pays off in the end.
But I thought this match had a lot on the line, and all the twists and turns and the near falls, they got me going every single time because I really had no idea who was going to win this one in the end. That, I think, was more interesting. Like the Cody and Andrade match, I kind of figured Cody was going to win. It's in his hometown. I figured he'd win in the main event here. But Ruby and Chris, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure who was going to advance in this tournament. And we said going into this is a big match because this could go either way. And there's a lot on the line.
Yep.
Like, this to me was the most important match on the card. It's a long-running tournament. This is a match to get into the semifinals against Nyla Rose. You beat Nyla Rose. You're in the finals of this tournament for a new championship. I was more invested in this match than any other match on the card, and I thought they both had a really good performance. This was my favorite match. I really liked the unpredictability about it. I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know how it was going to end. And when it finally did, it was like, oh, shit, Ruby won. It was good. It was really solid. I was happy with that match. And it was a little weird. Statlander and Soho hugged after the match, and then Statlander leaves. They show respect to baby faces. Statlander goes to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Vicky Guerrero shows up on the stage to yell at Statlander for some reason, and then Nyla Rose comes from behind Soho and attacks her as Soho was celebrating, and then Statlander runs back to the ring to chase off Nyla. Did Vicky need to go and yell at Chris Statlander at that point? Wouldn't it have been smarter for Vicky to not be there so that Chris Statlander, doesn't just stay on the stage so that she can help Ruby? Instead, Statlander could have walked back through the tunnel backstage if Vicky wasn't there to stop her and keep her near the ring.
That's an idea, but then
why was Vicky there?
Statlander. It's mainly just to actually keep Statlander there, right? Instead of her leaving and then coming back for the save. It's actually just saving time, really.
Right. It's to keep Statlander there to keep the show going. But in a real way, Vicky Guerrero showing up to stop Chris Statlander from exiting the ringside area makes no sense because Vicky's with Nyla Rose. And you would think that she'd want Nyla to get as much of Ruby Soho as she can in the post-match beatdown. But instead, because Vicky was standing there stopping Statlander from going backstage, Statlander was able to go and make the save and chase off Nyla Rose. I thought the match was good, but the post-match stuff was oddly booked. Very strange.
Well, it's just they wanted to make sure that Nyla had the advantage going into the match, which makes me think that Ruby's going to win this match because Nyla had the advantage the time before, so now it's like, well, this time it's not going to work out.
Of course Ruby's going to
We'll
win
wait and
this
see.
match. Ruby for sure wins this match at this point because Jade Cargill's going to be in the finals because Jade Cargill's going to win the tournament. Jade Cargill's going to be the first TBS champion. And, you need a babyface to go up against Jade Cargill. Nyla Rose is a heel. Jade Cargill's a heel. Doesn't make sense. It's got to be Ruby Soho versus Jade Cargill because it sure as hell isn't going to be Thunder Rosa in the finals because Jade Cargill's going to be the champion. So forget about everything. It's Ruby Soho, Jade Cargill in the finals, with Jade Cargill winning and becoming the first ever TBS champion because Jade Cargill is the best. The best, damn it.
I don't think they didn't say when that match was happening though.
No.
They said something about Thunder's going to be on commentary for Rampage, right?
Yes, Jade Cargill and
that was
her manager were backstage, and her manager says that Jade will be taking on Thunder Rosa in the next round of the tournament, but on Friday she'll be taking on a student of Thunder Rosa's on Rampage. And then Thunder Rosa showed up and says she'll be on commentary for Jade's match against her student on Rampage. So Jade will be wrestling on Rampage Friday night against a Thunder Rosa student. Jade will squash her again. Go Jade. Chris Jericho
probably
interviewed...
going to be
Sorry, yeah?
Sky Blue, probably. I think that's a Thunder Rosa student.
No,
It's
that
probably
wasn't
gonna
her
be
name. No, they said her name.
Oh,
it
wasn't
was
her
like
name?
No, she had like a long name. I don't know what her name was, but her name wasn't Sky
Is it
Blue. It was like a Spanish
La
name,
Rosa, I think, maybe?
something like that. I don't know. That sounds about right.
Okay.
I don't know who she was, but it was like a Spanish name. I don't know who she is. Chris Jericho interviewed backstage. He says he didn't come to help Eddie Kingston last week. He was there to take out 2.0, and then 2.0 and Daniel Garcia take him out. Beat him up backstage and hit him with a chair. So Jericho and 2.0, I guess, in a feud. Jericho and Eddie Kingston versus 2.0 at some point, probably. Great. Who cares?
Well, it's filler because I think they have something bigger planned for Inner Circle and probably Eddie Kingston, but they're probably waiting for Mox to come back to do something with Eddie. And whatever they're going to do with the Inner Circle, they're clearly waiting on that. So this is just to fill time for them, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely feels like filler. Like, why is Jericho getting beat up by 3 guys and none of his gang is there to help him? Where are Santana and Ortiz? They have nothing to do. Why aren't they there? Nobody helps Jericho, ever? It's weird. Speaking of big groups that make no sense, Taz on commentary with Will Hobbs and Hook Taz. And then Leo Rush showed up and started talking about winning the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal next week. And Leo stumbled through that promo. And Taz at one point is just like, get to your point. Because the crowd was dead and Leo looked lost. Taz told Leo to retire. And then Dante Martin and Ricky Starks showed up and faced off with Leo Rush. And then Leo Rush just stood there as Team Taz kind of greeted each other. And that was the promo. I mean, that was... You say the Bucks and Orange Cassidy was a low point of this show? I think this whole Taz segment was another low point of this show. What the fuck was that? That Leo Rush promo was god-awful. He is not a babyface. What the fuck are they doing?
It was just more surprising than anything, I thought. Just like, they're changing his character again. Like, didn't he already have a character set? And, like, now they're doing something completely different? Like, it's odd. I don't understand what they're doing here. I feel like Dante's going to just turn his back on Team Taz, but I don't know if that's what's really going to happen if they're trying to push this new Leo Rush character. I'm not sure.
It was bad, right? Did Leo Rush look lost in that promo or what? The hell was going on?
I think he's just uncomfortable in the role he's in. Like, it's not him. Like, him as more of that like cocky kind of guy that we saw before, that seemed more natural for him. This, like, being like, oh, I know, like, there's a lot of you say I have 0% chance, like him being the whole underdog thing, like yeah, it is true, but him trying to say that, it doesn't sound natural.
It was very strange. Very strange promo from Lio Rush. I did not like it whatsoever. And that's pretty much what happened on Dynamite tonight. A lot of weird promos. Man, that Gun Club has some good theme music. Very old school. They got some good old-timey sounding theme songs for the wrestlers. FTR has a real good one. The Gun Club had a real good one. Feels like old WCW music. It's great. Did you hear that song? So good.
Yeah, of course.
Such good wrestling music. Takes you back.
Well, I'll give this to AEW. Like they're in terms of music, like they know what they're doing here. Like to get popular songs for their faces, it's a really good idea.
It's a good promotion. You know, I thought
Wow.
this. I didn't think that this was the
Work in
best.
progress.
This wasn't the best episode of Dynamite, but you know, it was still enjoyable overall. It was still pretty good. I thought there were some holes there. I didn't love the main event like you did, but overall, I thought it was a good show. Like I wasn't bored or annoyed watching this show. It kind of went by pretty quickly, and I was like, "No, that was good." You know, was it my favorite episode? No, but it's passable. And even when it's like kind of a off night for Dynamite, I still wind up enjoying it because there's some stuff on there that's, you know, very good. There's always some really good nuggets on Dynamite. So it's, you know, like you say, it's a work in progress. It's always, you know, working through, and it's not always perfect, but it is good overall. It is like a solid show. Watching Raw this week, Raw was actually decent this week, but Raw, like the difference between Raw and Dynamite is that, or even SmackDown, you know, any of the WWE shows and the AEW show, is that when the WWE shows are bad, they're hard to watch. When AEW's bad, it's kind of like, well, that was goofy and, you know, whatever. But it's not like hard to sit through. You know, when WWE is bad, it's just like boring. It's like watching paint dry. When AEW is bad, it's like, what the fuck are they doing? Right? When AEW is bad, it's like, I don't know if they should be doing that. It seems a little weird. When WWE is bad, it's like, oh man, they're still doing this. This sucks, you know? I like when WWE does weird stuff. When WWE does weird stuff where you're like, I don't know what the hell they're doing. Like when Vince McMahon is like making fun of his own product on his own product. What'd you think about that AJ Styles thing, pal? Seemed obvious that he wasn't blind. Street Profits saw right through it. Expect the unexpected. Did you see any of those Vince promos on Raw this week? They were crazy, and it was the type of thing where you go, should they be doing this? But I enjoyed the shit out of it because I like when they do weird shit like that. I like seeing weird Vince. Did you see that? Super weird.
I just saw your tweets about Vinny. That's about it.
Oh.
But I think people like Vince for the most part, no? So you like him.
Yeah, I love him.
So keep him on television. I think he's a ratings grabber, so put him on television. Like I think it's more exciting when he's there.
I agree. I think he makes the show way more fun. Like if it's going to be a backstage segment with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville or a backstage segment with Vince McMahon slapping the shit out of Austin Theory, I'll take the Vince McMahon segment all day, every day. But he is barely comprehensible at this point. It was wild to see Vince on Raw this Monday. Coming up, Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page for the AEW World Championship, December the 15th. That winter is coming. Next week on Dynamite, though, it'll be the Dynamite Dozen Diamond Battle Royal. Does MJF win this thing again for a third year in a row? Once again, it's in his hometown. He's in the match. I feel like he should. Or Punk does.
I feel like Punk might. I don't know if Punk wins, but I think Punk might screw him over or something.
Who's even in this thing? I know MJF is in it. I know Lio Rush and a couple of the Taz guys are in it. Other than that, I don't think they built this match whatsoever.
They'll probably say on Rampage.
Yeah. Hopefully they give us a full list on Rampage. But that's next week on Dynamite. Jamie Hayter versus Riho also set for Dynamite next week. And Johnny Hungy versus Bryan Danielson. This coming Friday, you've got Jade Cargill in action, Pentagon and Pac versus FTR, and something else that I forget about now. What was the other one?
The TNT title match?
Oh, yeah. Sammy Guevara versus Tony Nese. Tony Nese. How about it? And that was AEW Dynamite. Doug Hepburn says he's going to go tomorrow to look for that Dominic Mysterio. If they have the Damian Priest, get that too. There's a Damian Priest and a Dominic Mysterio I'm looking for, Doug. Where did you see him? Was that at a Walmart or at a Toys R Us? Because I'm also looking for some WWE plush toys. There's some WWE like stuffed guys. And there's a Bret Hart and a Hulk Hogan that I need too. And they're at Walmart. So if you see those, Doug, get those too. Get me everything. I need the Hulk Hogan and the Bret Hart plush. And I need Elite 89 Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest. And I'll trade you stuff. I'll send you whatever you want, Doug. I'll send you Kenny Omega. I'll send you that Orange Cassidy. I'll send you your very own Britt Baker. Anything you want. We'll do some trades. And that goes for any of you, especially if you're in Ontario. I've noticed that people in Ontario tend to get way cooler shit than we do here in Quebec. So if you go to your local Walmart in Ontario and you see one of these Bret Hart plushes or a Hulk Hogan plush or the Macho Man plush, pick it up for old Uncle Dave and send it to Dave, and Dave will hook you up. Oh, Doug saw it at Toys R Us. All right, Doug, let me know. If you get that Dominic, you get that Damian Priest, let me know. But I might wind up buying it at Toys R Us tomorrow morning. That's the problem. I'm going to go check out Toys R Us tomorrow morning. That's my plan. And if they have it there, I'm just going to pick it up. That's just the way it is. I can't help myself. Thank you, Angelo. He's been a member of the universe for 11 straight months. Thank you, Angelo, for continuing to support the network. Johnny?
That's awesome. But you're on again tomorrow, so you'll be able to at least get
Doug,
the message out if you...
That's it. Doug, if I find it tomorrow, I'll let you know. But if you get it tomorrow, pick it up, and we'll see. We'll see what we can do. But, yeah, that would be cool if you pick that up for me, Doug. Trade it for the orange. That's it, John. That's it. I think I'm done. Angelo says, great show tonight. Thank you, Angelo. Doug Hepburn, you are the Super Chat leader of the night, I believe. Yeah. And I'm done. I'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Ringside Report MMA. We've got Jose Aldo versus Rob Font coming up on Saturday night. UFC at the Apex. UFC 269 is coming up next weekend. Holy shit. Dustin Poirier versus Charles Oliveira. For the UFC Lightweight Championship, Dustin Poirier, fresh off 2 straight victories over Conor McGregor. He's about to challenge for the World Championship, main event of a pay-per-view next weekend, December the 11th, and we'll be doing a watch-along for that one. Looking forward to that pay-per-view. Should be sick. Sick stuff from the UFC. UFC's got 3 straight Saturday nights of fights coming up in the month of December leading into Christmas, so that'll be fun to watch some of that UFC, and we'll be talking UFC tomorrow night with Freddie and AJ, 8 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the Ringside Report Network. And then Johnny and I will be back Friday night right after SmackDown, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Wrestling Uncensored, the home base. 10 p.m. Eastern, we'll be watching Rampage with you as well, and we'll be talking everything WWE and AEW. Monday nights, I try to keep it straight Raw, straight WWE. Wednesday nights, we do straight AEW, straight Dynamite. And then Friday nights, it's a little mix, a little mixy-mixy. Get a little SmackDown, get a little Rampage. We talk AEW, we talk WWE, we talk old school wrestling, we talk about whatever you want to talk about. You know what I mean? Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be here once again. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all the things, click the bell, get notifications. We appreciate you. And, yeah, that's it, John. Any final words? I'll be back here tomorrow for fight
Just
stuff.
keep subscribing to the channel. We're getting close to 2,000. Close for the end of the year.
There you go.
Apparently there's a sound noise. I don't know what happened.
Doug Hepburn dropping a super chat. He says, thanks for your
Nice.
time, guys. Thank you, Doug. Doug just cementing his lead as the super chat leader of the night.
All good.
I like it. I like it. And December 10th, you're not going to be on the show. And I don't think we'll do a show, right? Is that it? Are we off December 10th for a wrestling thing? Are we wrestling?
Well, I think we'll both be attending a wrestling event in Montreal, if not mistaken.
Yeah. That'll
Main
take
Event
place
Wrestling. It's having a show.
Yeah, December 10th. Main Event Wrestling. You can go get tickets right now. Go to, what is it, maineventwrestling.com?
You can go to Ticketmaster.ca. Look up Main Event Wrestling.
MEWWrestling.com. For more information on the show, I'll be there on Friday night, December the 10th. Live at M. Telus in downtown Montreal. I will be there. Johnny North will be there. Jeremy Prophet will be there. Sexy Eddie will be there. Santino will be there. Santino Marella will be there. And I will be there as well. So we will be off on that
Shop
Friday.
Rougeau.
There you go. But we will be here this Friday night for some more wrestling talk. Appreciate you guys, and we will see you again. I'll see you again tomorrow, and then Johnny and I will see you again on Friday night. Thank you, Doug. You are the super chat leader of the night. And we'll see you again real soon.